Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, this article could be or should be the last drop into each and every mind on this planet, showing that China is not on NATO or US's side. Now, is it on Russia's side? It seems like, because they don't make comments and no actions to hurt Russia. On the other hand, I covered an article yesterday where China refused to participate in an invitation from the US of the defense chiefs. That's another one. So they have the balls. Now what happened here? You probably know that in... is this okay with you? Yeah. And in Kosovo, there are some little fights, to put it mildly, and you have the NATO and the Kosovo police fighting, or however you want to call it, physically engaging the protesters, which are Serbians. And now I'm not going to go into who attacked whom, who beats up whom, injuries occurred. The NATO, they have NATO peacekeeping forces over there, about 2,500, not at this point all of them located in northern Kosovo, but they got injured. A lot of Serbs got injured. Serbia got its army to the border of its province, and we have China providing support, pledging support of Serbia. So China is on Serbia's side. Now Russia is on Serbia's side, China is on Serbia's side, which is unsurprising. Why? Because if you remember, in 1999 the Chinese embassy was hit by a smart bomb, American smart bomb, and some of their staff were killed. And the American says, yeah, it's okay, well, sorry, collateral damage, that's how they call it. It was just a mistake, it was actually your fault, and so on. We just use an old map. All right, so let's see what the Chinese are saying about what's going on in Kosovo. Associated Press reports today, on May 30th, 2023, China expresses support for Serbia in a renewed Kosovo clashes involving NATO troops. So China on Tuesday, today, expressed its support for Serbia's efforts to, and I'm quoting, safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. That means they don't recognize Kosovo, and they are supporting China's territorial integrity and sovereignty, following renewed violence between ethnic Serbs and NATO peacekeeping troops in Kosovo. China's ruling Communist Party has long been a critic of the NATO alliance, stemming partly from the bombing of Beijing. Oh, these guys are not hiding that one. But it's not only that, but anyway, bombing of Beijing's embassy in Belgrade during the 1999 air campaign to end Serbia's brutal crackdown on ethnic Albanian separatists in Kosovo. Well, this is like Russian separatists in Ukraine, and then you have someone else from outside intervening and beating the Ukrainians right here. And those guys are not NATO, those guys are Russians. All right, so move on. The bombing in which, I hope YouTube did not catch that one. The bombing in which 3 Chinese journalists were killed had long been used by Beijing to mobilize anti-Western sentiment. Well, let's put it this way. How many ships, how many military bases does China have, let's say, near the United States of America? Or at least, around it? I don't think they have any. That means zero. How many does the United States have around China and in its vicinity? Too many. One is too many anyway. So who's anti-whom here? I mean, I'm not on China's or America's side. I'm on America's side because I'm a US citizen, but how can you improve, how can you change things if you don't notice that, hey, wait a minute, we make a mistake here, you should change it, you should turn it into a quality. But in this case, no, I can't participate in weaselship, which is, oh, no, you're anti-US sentiment. And we don't have any anti-Chinese sentiment whatsoever. We just have about, I don't know, 50 bases around you over there. All the countries surrounding you or surrounding and being over there, you know, South Korea, Japan, if you want, Taiwan, not as a country, but you know what I mean. In Philippines, down there, now they just got a pact in Papua New Guinea, of a defense pact with Papua New Guinea, United States. All these things over there, for what exactly? They say it to contain China from doing what? What do you mean to contain me? What am I doing to you? What am I doing to anybody? Did I do anything? Did I do anything? What did I do? You did. So you know what I mean? It's anti-US sentiment. I think it's the other way around. So let's move on to this article and see what these guys are saying. The US apologized for the attack, blaming it on faulty intelligence. They say they used an old map where they pinpointed a Serbian, Yugoslavian at that point, governmental building which was very close to the Chinese embassy, and then they switched, they hit, but somehow they hit the embassy, blah, 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 blah. And this thing with apologizing is like, I'm sorry to give you this analogy, one of your relatives, I don't know, gets hit like that by someone else, and the country says, some apologies here, some money for that. I wouldn't take it. You know, like those apologies when these guys hit with their smart bombs weddings in Afghanistan or Iraq. Collateral damage, some politicians came and said. Well, how about your family being in that collateral damage? Will you look at it the same way? I don't think so. So, no, if you try to be just, then that should apply both ways. But it doesn't. Why? Because they have the power. So, China, along with Russia and Serbia, does not recognize Kosovo's 2008 independence, and Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning on Tuesday placed the blame for the violence on a failure to respect Serbian political rights. Well, we oppose, and I'm quoting, we oppose unilateral actions by the provisional institutions of self-government of Kosovo, Mao said at a daily news briefing referring to the Kosovo government in Pristina. Despite Serbs boycotting recent local elections and seeking blah blah blah, they tried to make it on them like it was their mistake. Now, violence was sparked when Serbs tried to take over the offices, blah blah blah. At least 30 troops from the NATO-led peacekeeping force in Kosovo, KFOR, were injured on Monday. Actually, more than 30, because if I add 20 Hungarians with about 11 Italians and some Germans, you get to more than 30. But anyway, we're just updating the information. And I'm quoting again, we urge NATO to earnestly respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the relevant countries and truly do that in conducive to regional peace. To do what is conducive to regional peace. Well, Mao, I know what you want, but NATO doesn't want what you want, and you know what that is, right? Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić was expected to meet with the Russian and Chinese ambassadors in an effort to show he has support for his policies. Yes, he has support from more than only Russia and China, but some people are afraid to say so. Why? Because they are part of the plantation, some of them. Plantation, US plantation. So, I like it when these guys are saying, well, we isolated Russia. And you're like 40 countries that isolated Russia out of 193 countries on this planet. So who isolated whom actually? So, but that tells you, or at least shows you, how these guys are viewing the world. We are the world. We are the world community. The rest, beat it. You know what I mean? So yes, China will form an alliance, continue to show and to state their, opposition to the master, which is United States of America. In this case, because why? How should I say it mildly? A lot of countries in Europe, including Romania, for a fact, I know they oppose, and I think Spain as well, oppose this thing what happened in Kosovo in 2008, which is the independence of Kosovo and all that. And it's very interesting that they apply a rule here, but they don't apply the same rule over there. So when these guys conducted whatever, they said we're independent right now, but the other guys are conducting referenda, oh no, that's not, we don't count that because it's done by you. But when we do it, it's all good. Why? Because we're good. Well, this war in Ukraine, broke it in two. We have at least two sides now, which is good because it's always good to have diversity. All right, I don't know if it's inclusion, but diversity is right there. And equity, definitely we have equity right now. Otherwise, you would have dictatorship, you would have a unipolar world, we have a dictator, and if you have a dictator, the dictator will never be challenged. Well, I'm pretty sure when you go to a store, you want to see a variety of goods over there to pick out of. You don't want only one. Or in politics, you don't want only two parties to pick from, but you want more than that. But somehow here in America, because we are so sophisticated, we have only two options, which are actually paid by the same guys. But we have, everywhere we like diversity, but in our politics, we have only two sides. We got the left side and we got the left side. I thought I would say left and right. Nah, we got the far left and we got the followers, the left. As I said, these guys are just two identical twins, the Republican and the Democrats, identical twins with the same parents who, are caring for them. And one has a mustache or a beard and the other one doesn't have facial hair. That's the only difference between Republicans and Democrats here. But hey, we have two options and we're the best. We're the most democratic country. So from two, if you just take one out, you got the one-party system. So we are closest to what we don't like about China. But we're closer than any other country in Europe with only two parties. But somehow we say this is the best. Not one and not more than two. No. Two is the best. And these guys, if you argue with them, they will argue with you back like, we are the best. Why exactly? And you're going to know what they're going to tell you? They're going to use a historical fallacy. We did it great in the past, so it must be good right now. Okay, all right, man, if you say so. But if you ask them about other things, no. What do you want? You want a steak or you want a steak? No, I don't want a steak. I want diversity. I want to eat something else. Well, that's the only option you have. A steak, I don't know, with salt, a steak without a salt. But you're going to have only two kind of steaks. That's the only difference. I love this. Oh, send them to a restaurant and see how they react, having only two options which are very similar. But in politics, that's the best, because it's unimportant. Food is more important. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.